Hello, book friends. Welcome back to Amanda's Bookish Adventures, and it is June's reset on reading. And I have quite a stack, which I'm surprised about, that I want to read. I'm going to try to read majority of my physical TBR, but I have a lot of Kindle books that I want to also read this month. But I'll name one of them, like Icebreaker. There's other books off Libya I have on hold for the month of June. I might reread what is this series called? Heartstopper. I'd like to read those again. I think that'd be fun to read in the month of June. But I want to talk about a book I've been wanting to reread for a while, and it's the A Deal with the Elf King by Elisa Kova. I have not continued on with the series, and I have not purchased the rest of the series. I've considered unhauling this and just purchasing this all in Kindle Unlimited because I don't have a lot of room, but I love this book and I do want to reread it, and I'm still in the mood for fantasy romance. 3,000 years ago, humans were hunted by powerful races within wild magic until a treaty was formed. Now, for centuries, the elves have taken a young woman from Luella's village to be their human queen. To be chosen is seen as a mark of death by the townsfolk. Mark, 19-year-old Luella is grateful to escape as a girl. Instead, she's dedicated to her life to studying herbology and becoming the town's only healer. That is until the Elf King unexpectedly arrives for her. Everything Luella had thought she'd known about her life and herself was a lie, taking to a land filled with wild magic. Luella is forced to be the queen to a cold, yet blistering handsome Elf King once she learns about a dying world that only she can save. The magical land of Midscape pulls on the corner of her heart, her home, and pulls people tug on another. But what will truly break her is a passion she's never wanted. I love this book. I read it a couple years ago and still in the mood for some fantasy romance. I do have some other ones on my Kindle that I wouldn't mind reading for the month of June, but majority of these are repeats on May's TBR that I did not get to. I would like to read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey. The next chapter is all up to them. Will they lead to a love story or be a closed book? Books are Rosie Taffert's life, and ever since she's took over her mother's beloved Manhattan bookstore, they've become her home too. The only thing she's missing is her own real life romance, like the one she likes to read about, and Rosie has an idea who might like to sweep her off her feet. She struck up a flirty online friendship with a lesbian romance author, Bree. What could be more romantic than falling in love with her favorite author? Jane Braslin works hard to keep her professional and personal lives neatly separated. By day, she works for a family property development business. By night, she puts her steamer aside on paper under her pen name Bree. Jane hasn't had much luck with her own love life, but her online connection with a loyal reader makes Jane wonder if she could be the one. When Rosie learns that her bookstore lease has been terminated by Jane's family business, romance moves to the back burner. Even though they're at odds, there's no denying that sparks fly every time they're together. When their online identities are revealed, will Jane be able to write her way to a happy ending? Or is Rosie's heart a closed book? I've owned this for a couple years. I definitely want to get to this in the month of June. This is the second book in the series, and I think this ruins some of this book from book one. So I don't want to spoil myself, but I'd like to also read No Strings Attached. We also have one I've had for a couple years, bought secondhand, which makes me feel a bit better that it wasn't brand new release, but it's Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wismer. When Casey Klein goes to an off-campus bar to escape her school's family weekend, she isn't looking for a hookup, it just happens. Buying a drink for a stranger turns into what should be an uncomplicated, amazing one-night stand. But then the next morning rolls around and her friend drags her along to meet her mom, the hot older woman Casey slept with. Erin Bennett comes to the family weekend to get closer to her daughter, not to have a one night stand with a college senior. In her defense, she hadn't known Casey was a student. When they met, to make things worse, Erin's daughter brings Casey to breakfast the next morning, and despite Erin's bad judgment, how could sleeping with your daughter's friend be like anything but bad? She and Casey get along in the day as well as they did last night. What should have been a one night stand quickly proves impossible to ignore, and soon Casey and Erin are sneaking around. Worst of all, they start to realize they have something real. But is being honest about love between them worth the cost? Another repeat that I have not got to, and I'm not going to read the description, but if I do get to it, I'll read the description in the vlog. This is a sequel, companion series, still a sequel, so I'm not going to read the description because it kind of spoils the fate from the character in Stack. Let me get the book. Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Astrid Heron Blake. I would like to get to this. I do not own the third book in the series. I stopped myself after buying two. Had them for years, haven't picked them up. I did buy her newest release on Kindle, and I would like to get to that in the month of June as well. Delilah Green swore she would never go back to Bright Falls. Nothing is there for her but memories of a lonely childhood in which she's a little more than a burden to her cold and distant family. Her life is in New York with her photography career finally gaining steam and her bed never empty. Sure, there's a different woman in it every night. That's just fine with her. When Delilah's estranged stepsister Astrid pushes her into photographing her wedding with a grip in a gilt tree trip and a five-figure check, Delilah finds herself back in the godforsaken town that she used to call home. She plans to breeze in and out, but when she sees Claire Sutherland, one of Astrid's stuck-up besties, and decides there's maybe something fun and a little retribution to be had in the falls, Bright Falls after all. Having raised her 11-year-old daughter mostly on her own while dealing with her unreliable ex and running a bookstore, Claire Sutherland depends depends upon a life without surprises, and Delilah Green is an unwelcome surprise at first. Though they've known each other for years, they don't really know each other. So Claire is unsettled when Delilah figures out exactly what buttons to push when they're forced together during the gauntlet of a wedding preparations, including a plot to save Astrid from her horrible fiance. Claire isn't sure she has the strength to resist Delilah's charm. Even worse, she's starting to think she doesn't want to. I really want to read this, and I'm hoping I'm in the mood. Another one that I've had for years. Haven't got to, and it's been on a repeat TBR. Casey McQuiston, I have read two of her books previous. My first one I read was One Last Stop, and I gave that one 5 stars. I don't know where it is. I haven't gotten rid of it. Somewhere in this house. But I have it on Audible from Libby, and I think it might be fun to listen to the story. I do like to do rereads as audiobooks. Some books I like to reread physical, but either way, I think it would be a good one as well. And Casey McQuiston has another romance, and it's kind of like in the 80s, like where exes kind of meet back up at a retreat or something that I am probably going to read off my Kindle or my phone. It could be a workbook. So I definitely want to reread this. I listened to this physically first. The audiobook is amazing. I purchased my copy. I love the book so much. I've read it every couple of years. This book, I don't it's a book I don't think I will ever unhaul, and I'll probably end up buying the audiobook and the Kindle book. So if anything happens to my physical copy, I still have a digital copy of something to talk about. I do have a short on my channel talking about this and a reading blog for it, and I'll read the description in the next book. But it's also by Meryl Wismer. I have another book in my room that's by her, and it's the soccer one, Cleat Cute. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I'm not that big into sports. I think I could. The soccer one would be good. I have a bunch of other sapphic romances on my Kindle that are sports, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for like a soccer romance. A hockey one I could do. I got Rolling into Love is like a D&D. I got two of those that are kind of similar on my Kindle, and we'll see where the month goes. We have another repeat. It is The View from the Top. And the thing is, this is from the same author, Rachel Lacey, and I have read the description before, but it's basically they're coming into town to buy the property, and it's the family homes, a lot like the bookstore. So she likes to write in a story she feels comfortable with, or at least a way to have a dramatic entrance so the characters interact. I have to say, for the month of June, plus on the top of the Kindle books, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not bad. If I can finish 10 of my physical books, and some of these I've owned for a long time and have not picked them up, I would be happy. I have a lot of fantasy romances that are sapphic, that are queer relationships on my Kindle that I'd like to get to. Icebreaker is a hockey romance, and their two boys are on the same team that I'd like to get to in the month of June. Now, for the month of June, to be realistic, and I have said this in reading vlogs, and I think I said this in my May reset on reading, I have a game release that I have waited since the beginning when I found out it was going to be released. They have delayed it from March 31st was the date to May 31st, and then they delayed it again to June 5th, release date of the Switch 2, which honestly has been one of like my most frustrating things of this year. I bought the special deluxe edition. I'm probably going to buy the Switch 2, even though I don't own a Switch 2. I'll probably buy the Switch 2 edition just to have it for when I do get my Switch 2. It's been delayed so much that I've taken days off work that I cannot like get back. So it's like I'm losing money at this point, and I'm frustrated with myself because I had to buy the special edition of it. But I can say that about books too because I have bought special edition of books. Sorry to cut myself off. I ranted. So I've waited a long time for this release of this game, Rune Factory's Guardians of Azuma, and I don't know. I have high hopes. Like, I don't want to be disappointed. So I know reading will go on the back burner. It's also why I did 31 books in 31 days, is to jump the Goodreads goal, and also so I knew that if I not got in a reading slump, but if I did not majority of the month reading for the next couple months, a big chunk of my TBR would be gotten down. Now, I didn't actually succeed as much as I would have liked to have succeeded. The majority, if you saw the last May set on reading, I was supposed to read like all these physical books. I did not have time. My work month went kind of insane in the month of May, and it's not even over. I am close to finishing that goal, and I did read some physical books off my TBR, which makes me happy. Sad thing is, I remember saying in that video that I would be happy if I read 15 books, or even 16 physical books. The majority has been digital. So if I don't get to my digital copies in the month of June, if I could at least get some of these books off my TBR and read, I think I'd be happy with that alone if I at least read 5 with that game release. But if you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which one should I read first in the month of June? And I can't wait to see what reading content goes on in the month of June, and I hope It's a good reading month, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.